What's good, everybody? We're gonna dive into a new sub today. Am I the asshole or am I the antagonist? This one's basically the poster asking if they did the right thing in this situation or if they're an asshole. Let's dive into it. Am I the asshole for telling my coworker just how valuable his deadbeat son's trading card collection is worth? I have a coworker, Bill, who supports his wife and 30-year-old son. Bill's a hardworking guy who puts in 60+ hours a week. Well, lately Bill had some financial emergencies and basically drained his savings and is afraid that in a few months he won't be able to make his house payments. Bill's son Ned is my age. We grew up together and were pretty close until a few years ago when he withdrew from a lot of his social circles. We still talk and hang out occasionally, but nothing like we used to. Ned hasn't had a job since he was 18 and has lived off an allowance from Bill in exchange for doing chores around the house since his mother is too physically ill to do much around the house anymore. Bill has admitted to me that life would be so much easier if Ned would just get even a part-time job to help out a bit with the bills, but Ned just refuses. Well, as Bill was telling me about his financial trouble, I remembered Ned's rather large collection of Magic the Gathering cards. We used to play a lot, and a few months ago, I remember going through his binder of his rarest and most valuable cards. For example, to those of you who know Magic the Gathering, he has a full playset of most of the original Alpha Beta Dual lands, a couple Power 9 cards, and a couple of others. His entire collection is easily worth over $100,000. I told Bill about this, and he didn't believe me at first. Thought I was just making a joke, but I sat him down and explained that with how well he's taken care of those cards over the years, they are probably mostly in good condition and worth hundreds if not thousands for certain cards. Bill just sort of sat there stunned for a minute before going back to his office. Well, he must have said something to Ned because I got a message on Facebook from Ned where he told me that I was a piece of shit for telling his dad about the cards and that he's now harassing him and threatening to kick him out if he doesn't either find a job or sell the cards. I told him that he should probably get a job and then blocked him because I didn't want to be attacked anymore. Part of me feels justified because Ned really should get a job and help Bill out. But then again, was it none of my business? Should I have just kept it to myself and not tried to help, especially if it's going to cause turmoil in the family? I'm really torn here. What do you guys think about this one? I'm gonna say that Op is not the asshole in this situation. It sounds like Ned needs to get off his ass. And those cards can be worth a lot. Some of the most expensive cards in that game can run from $1,000 to $3,000. Honestly, this makes me want to bust out the cards. I haven't played in forever. I gotta see if I can find them. Am I the asshole? I missed my daughter's award ceremony because of my son. She's still not speaking to me. I've been a single mom to 2 kids since they were 6 and 4. Their dad passed away. Around that time, my son was formally diagnosed as autistic. He's not very verbal and prone to physical outbursts when he has a meltdown. He's been in therapies of every kind for his entire life, and it's helped somewhat. Their dad had a life insurance policy which allowed me to stay home as my son's main caregiver while working freelance. But money was tight, and finding anyone capable of watching him has always been a challenge. My daughter was graduating from college last year. A week before the ceremony, she had an award ceremony for academic achievement. I was obviously incredibly proud of her. She asked me to come to it and I said I would. Her college is 2 hours from here. I hired a trained sitter who specializes in autism the day of the ceremony. Right as I was about to leave, my son had a meltdown and was lashing out at the sitter. I couldn't leave and he wasn't calm for hours. I'd left my daughter a voicemail saying I wasn't going to be able to make it. She called back that night absolutely livid. She called me a shit mother, said I had 2 kids but only cared about one. That I'd missed every game and performance she had as a child and it clearly wasn't going to change as adults, and that she was just done. She said she knows he can't help it, but her brother is incapable of showing empathy, and it made it hard to be around him without resenting him. She hung up and that was it. I've barely spoken with her since. She didn't send tickets for the graduation we were supposed to go to next week. She hasn't shown up for holidays and I've heard she's engaged but didn't call to tell me. She's cut us out, and in the 1 of 3 times we've spoken since, she said it's easier for her to not have us around than be disappointed, and that being alone at events isn't nothing new for her. She just doesn't have to bother getting her hopes up I might come now. Yeah, it definitely sounds like you're the asshole in this situation. If you've missed every performance and ceremony and game that she's had, you haven't really tried very hard to be there for her. If you want your kids to like you, it's best that you support them as much as you can. It seems like she didn't support her as much as she could have. Am I the asshole for not wanting to try therapy for my child-hating problem? Just to be clear, this post isn't about whether I'm an asshole for disliking children. It is about whether I'm an asshole for refusing to try therapy. From the start, I made it clear to my fiancé I did not want children. I've made this clear with every person I have dated. He did not have any issues with it whatsoever and said he liked pros of a child-free life. Our relationship was going great, and last week, a couple months before our wedding, he announced he would actually love to have children. He said he realized this from having our dog, who I admit we spoil like a child. This shocked and, to be honest, devastated me, because much of my perception of him was very much based on someone who shared my desire to have a child-free life, which is extremely important to me. I told him despite the fact I loved our dog, dogs are very different from children. He insisted that because I treated our dog so well, I would be a great mother. He then asked that I try therapy to fix my child-hating problem. He believed that my traumatic childhood has caused me to hate children because wanting children is a natural desire. I will not deny that this might be the truth, but I have no desire to fix my issue. My best friend said I'm being selfish because therapy can't hurt, and I probably do have a lot of unresolved childhood issues, abandonment from parents, etc. A part of me is considering it, but deep inside, I really don't want to. Am I the asshole? You're definitely not the asshole in this situation. You made it very clear from the start that you did not want children. So for this guy to completely change his mind and hold it against you is not very cool. Am I the asshole for throwing my roommate's maggoty trash into her room? I live with two roommates in a small student residence. Last Tuesday, one of them left an open bag of food leftovers, mostly chicken and sausages, on the kitchen counter. She'll get rid of them later, I thought. Boy, was I wrong. On Wednesday, I texted her asking to get rid of it. She did not. Friday comes and there's a foul, rotten smell all over the place. Flies are inside the bag and it's just gross. Knocked on her door and asked her again to please get rid of it. Annoyed, she said she would but didn't and then left to spend the weekend with her parents. I'm done with cleaning after this girl's mess every single time, so I took the bag and threw it through her bedroom window. The weekend goes by. Today, Monday night, when she came back, I heard her scream. Seconds later, she was angrily knocking at my door while yelling, "What the f*** did you do?" At this point, roommate number 2 comes out of her room, confused as to what's going on. The three of us go downstairs to the first roommate's room. Oh Jesus. As she opened the door, we found maggots taking over her floor, furniture, and walls. Roommate number 2 threw up. Both of them yelled at me how bad of a person I was and demanded me to clean. I refused. I told roommate number 1 I was done with her bullshit. 9 times out of 10 I end up doing the dishes she should have done. I put in the bin all the wrappers and food leftovers she often leaves at the table for several days. Because of this, we had maggots in the kitchen just a couple days prior to the beginning of this incident. She once spilled milk on the floor and didn't seem to care. When I asked her to clean, she answered with, "If it bothers you so much, clean it yourself." Also, she often clogs the toilet and leaves it for the next person to take care of. Her parents came to pick her up and also to yell at me some more. I didn't even try to defend myself, but didn't apologize either. Just an hour ago, I got a call from my landlord telling me we would discuss this in the morning. I'm done with her being so disgusting, but I can't afford to move elsewhere. Am I the asshole for trying to teach my roommate a lesson? Damn, everyone's the asshole in this situation. You're gross for not cleaning up your mess, but you're gross for also throwing it in her room. It's always the dishes that never get done. That's why you write it up in the contract before they sign the lease. You don't do your dishes, you break your lease, and you get kicked the f*** out. Am I the asshole for holding up a long drive-thru line over 8 cents? I was grabbing some lunch at a drive-thru restaurant. The change I was due after handing them a $10 bill was $3.08. The woman at the window opened the window for a very brief moment, hurriedly handed me $3 bills and no coins, and disappeared. With her hurriedness, I assumed that she was going back in to grab my coins and would be back momentarily. When she popped her head out about half a minute later though, I saw this was not the case. In a snippy tone, she told me I need to pull out of the drive-thru, since there are others behind me. I told her that I'm still waiting on my 8 cents. She gave me a puzzled look and swore she gave me my 8 cents along with the $3. I know this was not the case. I specifically remember being handed only $3 bills and no coins. She asked me if I was calling her a liar, and I insisted I wasn't, stating that mistakes happen. She argued and argued. I do not think she was deliberately trying to scam me. 8 cents would be a pitifully low amount to scam someone. Rather, I think she's one of those egotistical people who think she's always right and never wants to admit defeat, no matter how small or insignificant. I asked to speak with their manager, and she said he's not in at the moment. I turned off my engine, folded my arms crossly and petulantly, and lay back in my seat. I told her that I am staying right here until I get my 8 cents. There was a long line of cars behind me, so you would think this would be a motivator to her, but nope, she still refused. She'd intermittently poke her head out of the window and argue with me, then disappear back in. The guy behind me figured out what was going on and started honking at me, but I just continued to sit with my arms folded, laying back, waiting calmly for my 8 cents. According to my car clock, I sat blocking the drive-thru exit for a good 6 minutes. I spent an additional minute before that debating with the lady about my 8 cents. Finally, at the end of the 7-minute window, the woman furiously conceded and handed me my 8 cents. I flashed her a smug grin and told her that the moment I get done eating my lunch, I'm calling up her manager. 8 meager cents, what a stupid thing to screw up your job for, I said, and then pulled out. I spoke to her manager as I had promised, and I think she's in very hot water. Am I the asshole for standing my ground? I think you did the right thing in this situation. It's 8 cents, but 8 cents is still 8 cents. It might not be a large amount, but most of the time they forget the damn Szechuan sauce. You get all the way home before you realize they f***ing forgot it. You ain't going all the way back, that's for sure. Just a reminder, we got another drawing contest going on for June. This one's theme is monsters. Submit your artwork by June 26th on the Discord. Links are in the description. Be safe, everyone. We'll see you all in the next video. Peace.